Good morning and welcome to ATI Pro Media. It is February 19th. We talked about it on the show yesterday. We wanted to see corn close above $5. We got it, right? The market, it tried at the close, it tried to dip a little bit below it, but we closed at 502. The highest close we've seen in quite a while, and good to see we continue to get a positive market, right? So I guess my head goes, what's going to derail this bull market, right? Can we keep going? What are you doing about it on your operation? I think that's the $1 million question, right? How are we handling this rally, and how do we go from here? But anyway, other headlines: corn exports continue to shine. Soybeans not so much, right? So we'll focus on the big number of that corn export inspections that we saw yesterday. Other than that, drop us a question. Brady, get in here, quote us up these markets. It's been a lot of fun. Remember, we started ATI Pro Media November of 24. And so most of the time, right, we really started it during that it was really a bearish market until what, about I guess you say middle of July. It didn't feel like we turned things around that quickly, but it's good to see this, right? Good to see the rally, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Good to see them rally up here and run. So good to see the prices move higher. Hopefully you got some ownership. Here we'll run through your quotes to start you off today. We got March corn 502 hanging on to that 5 handle unchanged here on the day. Been on both sides. March beans up a penny at 10.39.5. Soy oil is down 75 points. Soy meal is up 230 at 304. The wheat market's taking a bath, not looking so hot right now. March wheat is down 6.25, 598.5. Lost the $6 handle. March KC wheat down 5 cents at 622.25. Looking at your July KC wheat contract, new crop KC wheat 645.5, down 4.25 points. Cattle are leaking lower. Feeders, March feeders down 45, 269.27. Out there, your deferreds are also weaker as well. Your fat cattle board is kind of interesting. Feb's down 15 points, and April is up 57.5, 194.60 on April. Firmer on those backs, but Feb is, I wonder how many trading days are left in Feb. I haven't paid attention to that. Looking at your hog markets, hogs are down at $1.62, 91.55 on the April hogs. Hogs looking a little rough here out of the gate. Crude oil is up $1, 72.85. Diesel up a penny. Nat gas up 22 cents. Ho! Nat gas is on fire, 423 on the board. Yeah, we got sound effects of our own, Connor B. I like it. The Dow is down 140, the S&P down 15, and the NASDAQ down 82 points. So that's a rundown of where your markets are at. I love the sound effects you got, Connor. Thanks for filling the gap there. Good stuff. Got your own soundboard.
I gotta say, in terms of nat gas being higher, I'm doing my part, right? I got my office. Right, my office was built in like 1910. It's an old bank, if anyone that doesn't know. So it's not the best insulated. So I'm doing my part there. Yeah, and then I was also I bought a house. I bought a house with a lot of charm, Brady, and so you know what that means is that it's an older house, and man, it's days it's weeks like this where it's like, okay, Connor, you could do a little bit better weather stripping, a little bit better. Maybe it's time to foot the bill and get a little bit more of that attic insulation in there. So I'm doing my part with nat gas bill. I'll tell you that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm ready for the weekend. 60-degree temps here in Dodge coming the weekend. And that's just my mental mindset is, hey, I can gut through this. Let's just go. And it'll be sunshine and summertime here before you go from minus temps to, even 30s. It feels like a heat wave, and you shed layers and you're in your t-shirt out there looking like a elementary school kid. My kid coming home after class with no coat on. None of these kids wear coats anymore. These dang kids, they don't wear coats anymore, Connor. I don't know where to go.
Pants are pants still not cool too, right? You got to wear shorts.
Shorts, just shorts every day, all day. Yep. Mm-hmm. Or jeans. I was a jean guy. I like the jean guy. I grew out of the jeans about 6th grade, but yeah. No. What do we got for headlines, Connor B? I was late to the game. You built the show here. So
yeah, I some quick ones. First, we got some housekeeping. We got March option expiration is Friday. And so, right, if we've got some March calls on, that are in the money. Let's start thinking about, are we cashing them in? Are we rolling them out? Right. That'll probably be our premium topic, is just walking through that, walking through that math for you, what you should be doing. And same thing, right? If we, if we have any type of put options that we want to reposition, that March expiration is Friday.
Yeah, it's always nice to manage those positions when the market has gravitated away from your strike. I feel like when it goes higher than your calls are in the money, let's manage those things then. Or your puts are below the market. Should we be making cash sales? Definitely a good topic for premium. Options expiration week can be kind of wonky with where the market goes, what the market decides it's going to do. But hey, there's a lot of other headlines that are going to drive this market. I'm not too worried about where open interest is on any of these strikes, because a headline can change the game at any point in time.
Absolutely. I go back to last year. If you remember March option expiration, it was, those last like 2-3 days we saw, I mean, it was a bearish market before that, but we saw some serious weakness going into that, March option expiration. And so if, we got to keep in mind every year's different, right? Marketing plan that worked in 2024 isn't necessarily working in 2025 if you're going all in one way or the other. But that was interesting to see. We'll have to look back on that, the weakness we saw.
It was, yeah. And the sentiment was a year ago, it was so depressing out there talking to farmers in farm country. The price had just been beat down over the last couple months. And February was a low point in sentiment, I think, for a lot of the year last year as we bled down. That was when I had guys call me and tell me, Brady, Connor, why didn't you guys push me? Tell me to do more. Gosh, you got to be on my butt going forward. How do I do better going forward next year? I really need to do this. I should have listened to you. Those types of comments were just everywhere in February. But we got short-term memories, and a couple months later, we maybe have forgotten about the pain of February. So, yep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Absolutely. So that's the I don't know if I'm cutting out. Just talk over me, Brady. But
gotcha. Okay.
to get not to get on the soapbox. I think I'm lagging. One of us is lagging a little bit. I'm not sure
Yeah.
who.
Well, let's dive into corn exports here and move on through the headlines here. But we'll got a good premium coming out for you guys here this afternoon. Going to talk about March options expiration and some of that sentiment stuff as well. But yeah, let's look at corn exports and break down some of that. If you're good to go, Connor, run through that. If not, I'll carry the load.
Yep. No, corn exports continue, right? We saw them at 63.5. Trade estimates was in that 38 to 55, kind of just continuing the trend of being above trade expectations on the corn market. And just look at this chart of corn shipments, Brady. Is just it's just unbelievable jump, right? We were talking about in November about how exports were great, and we've just continued the trend, right? Just fantastic corn sales. I hope it continues, right? The thing with corn shipments is that, it's not quite as seasonal, I guess, as looking at the soybeans. So let's hope this party keeps going, right? Continued strong demand is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I love that graphic. The strength and demand there and the shipments. It's kind of that we're in the heart of that season and just kind of starting the heart of that export season to get those shipments out there. So to start off hot like we have, that's kind of been the story here, and we'll see if it keeps going. A lot going forward, I think, on the corn export picture going to be determined by the size and the sentiment of South American crop, the size and the sentiment of what's going on in the Black Sea. Those are going to be two pieces of the puzzle. And then, just the appetite in general for China. You talked about that yesterday with the ability for China to move a balance sheet and their share of global imports across the whole commodity space. So two big factors going forward, but great to see those inspections continue. No flash sales today, though, Connor B.
Gosh, no flash sales. But and then also if corn, right, is our shining star looking at exports, soybeans kind of continues to be below expectations at the bottom end of the range. And so it's not necessarily, we're following a trend, we're following a pattern, but we're definitely on the low end of that pattern too, right? Purple line's 24.25. And so soybean exports kind of continued to disappoint. That's the story. Is corn exports fantastic, rising star, right? We're proud of it. And then soybeans is kind of the opposite, right? We're not, we don't want to talk too much about that. Not quite as good.
Right. Yep. Some seasonal tendency there. Keep in mind those are shipments. Thursdays we get export actual sales, but those are, Monday we get the weekly shipments data that's going out the door. And yeah, but you can't cancel a shipment once it goes on the boat. I guess you can cancel when it gets there, when it arrives. We've seen that before. But once they get shipped and out the door, that's a good sign to get them booked out there and moved on.
Yep. Absolutely. And so looking at just the price action, right? We talked a little bit about it yesterday about how we wanted that $5 close. We got it. Right now, Brady, March futures, it's the highest close we've seen since May 14th, 2024, which I believe, I think that was close to where we put in the high, right? It was that second, third week in May. And so continues to see some yeah, here, I got a chart here.
If you were bullish on May 14th last spring, April, May timeframe, when we were plus $5 on that contract, congratulations. We are back to where we started finally. Boy, what a ride it's been since then. That was right when we put out that video, This Is Me Pushing You. When we did that great video.
You put out that video. You put out that video.
Well, it's a team effort out here that we're doing. No, so,
you get credit for that one, Brady.
But that was, and it's not picking the type, a high or anything, but it goes back to that comment of sentiment within February being, terribly low, asking, hey, help me, help you. Let's do this together. How can I help you going forward? And when you got opportunities, you gotta sometimes get the hot shot or get the hammer, the paddle to keep pushing the guy forward. Throw that chart back up, Connor B.
Sure.
What are we looking at there? That's the March corn chart. Okay.
Yep.
Still back there in that May time frame, right?
Yeah, going back to May 14th, really. So, yeah, just what a ride, unbelievable rally. Yeah, yeah, heck of a ride. And so, I guess my question is, right? We've seen $5 front month futures. It's fantastic. How are you handling on your operation? Right, that's the question. Did we, are you in the camp where we sold a little bit too early? Right, we feel like we're missing out. Hopefully you got the call ownership on if we did make those sales, right? That's what we want to do. And now, right, if you're sitting on all your old crop, right, you feel like the smartest guy in the room. Are you holding for 6? Are we making sales at 5? I'd love to know, I'd love to know what you're doing. What's the sentiment out there?
Yeah. We need to pull Nathan Russ Farm, Iowa, his comment in here because it ties into exactly that question and that comment. If you guys want to pull that in here, I'm going to click the button maybe. Oh, I'm clicking. You click. I'm clicking.
I'm not doing anything. Here we go. All right. I've been hearing analysts say that we more have a bull run on corn. When did we officially switch from bear to bull? It'd be nice if they could tell us that, right, Russ? When they need to let us know when we did, hey, it's time to be bullish.
Yep. Sentiment swings and it changes. And how does that impact? It goes back to what are you doing with the rally? How is it impacting what you're doing? And are you just getting bulled up when the market gets bullish? And are you getting bearish when the market's bearish? I mean, that's a whipsaw type of marketing plan that just leaves your head spinning at the end of the day. And sometimes you can tell across the industry, you just get that feeling when we've had good days, you get good, positive, bullish market commentary. And when we have sell-offs and bad days, it's everything's bearish and you should have done this, should have done that. Where were you? And we got to have a better plan than that going forward. So yeah, you get opportunities like this, pay attention.
Yeah. 2 things. Number one, I would say, in my opinion, just to answer your question, Russ, is that, we were bullish, December, we had a nice bull market, but I feel like that January report, that's when things flipped, right? If we can go back, look in hindsight, to me, I think that's where things officially kind of turned. But here's the other thing I think I'll always keep in mind is that we're not going to see the next big bull run coming, right? Go back to 2020. When we had the delayed show in Iowa, we had China come in and say, you know what, we're going to buy a bunch of U.S. corn. We're going to see yields pull back a little bit. And we went from, low $3 cash corn to $7 cash corn in the span of 5-6 months. And so that's, when you're thinking about marketing, just always keep that in mind. We're not going to see that next big bull run coming. And so you got to keep that in mind, right?
Yeah, that's a fantastic comment, Connor, because you never see it coming. It's out of nowhere, and it's same thing with the sell-off. You know, the big bearish sell-off that comes out of nowhere, and this slides this market and causes funds to run for the exits. That's at risk on the corn market. On the bull side of things, I feel like corn's got that story, but we need some help from wheat, from beans. We need a story somewhere else that helps catapult this market and send it higher. Sometimes it's nice. You get one domino to fall, you need another domino to fall. We got a little tight balance sheet on the corn side of things. We need something else to kind of encourage funds to come in and rise the tide and lift all boats here. But that's my thoughts. Yeah.
I like it. Well, good stuff. Well, let's run through these questions and we'll get out of here real quick. I think we got some really good ones. Never had a grain merchant call asking for corn until this morning. Oh, here we go. Got a feeling there will be a lot of wheat fed in North Carolina as it comes off in June. Might be better to plant milo than beans. Luke, not super familiar with like acreage rotations in North Carolina, but I do you plant a lot of milo? That's interesting. But
Yeah.
so the guys are out call. They're looking for corn, huh? Good to see, right? It's kind of I don't want to say it's the opposite, but just looking at cash bids in my area, I think they're going a little bit hand to mouth, right? This nice futures rally, it's really guys are taking advantage of it. I don't know if the processor really needs to bid up at this time, right? That could change the summer, but
definitely some regionality out there, right? I mean, in different areas. North Carolina, Luke, guys had tough year this year, terrible growing conditions, and just a rough year from a production side of things. And then you throw in other grains, other commodities, and we see that out here in the West. Wheat demand, milo demand's been so piss poor out here, Western Corn Belt, that those are starting to make their way into rations. Guys feeding milo to fat cattle, feeding some wheat out there, working its way into the ration just because of price. But then the other aspect with you is a production problem and just the availability and the basis it takes for corn. If you got some wheat out there, it might make it into a ration if you have a good crop. So good stuff. Always a moving target there. Definitely.
Yeah. Here's a good one too. Thoughts on corn soy ratio? It's interesting to see corn continue to rally while soy has been fairly range bound. So, great comment. It's one of those we're a little bit in uncharted territory in terms of the type of corn soy ratio we have for this type of year. And so, I think that's the thing is when we're looking at new crop marketing plans or any type of new crop marketing is we got to make sure let's not get too much of a short-term focus right now. Core market feels it's been a great rally. The focus is going to be on that safrinha corn crop planting. On soybeans it's going to be that South American soybean crop, but we got to remember how fast the narrative can change, how fast numbers that we might be using in terms of a US balance sheet is going to change too, because right now the sentiment is the market wants more corn acres, right? And so if you want to heal a tighter carryout, that's how we do it is with a 94 million acre corn number. And so I think that's worth keeping in mind, right? The end of March, we'll have the USDA give our first look at where they have corn, soybean, wheat acres at. And so we got to have that date on our calendar and be ready for it.
Definitely. Yep. It's all about supply and demand too, right? We got to look at both sides of the aspect, and those things are moving targets and they change. Definitely. Good stuff. All right. Nathan, Russ, hear lots of farmers talking about switching to more corn acres, although I haven't had any seed customers return seed beans in order in their corn. The corn could sell off fast. Good stuff there.
So is it all talk right now? But we know the old adage, right? Is that the U.S. farmer, we love to plant corn, and so if the market's telling us, are they going to listen? And so if planting corn acres, keep it going. If planting corn acres on corn are
I think it comes from the fringe, Connor. I think that's where that swing comes from. I think the Illinois I-states, you guys are going to stay in the rotation. You're going to stay pretty static, but it's, these fringe acres, like to all these comments out here, appreciate all your comments, sunflowers and milo and wheat and, those different commodities can gobble up some of the bean acres if beans aren't penciling, and incentivize you to go out there and plant some. I mean, cotton looks to be, there's some analysts out there calling for significant reduction in cotton acres going forward just because of cotton having a 70-cent handle on it versus corn and beans having 5 and 10 handles on them. So. Good stuff. Good comments out there too. Appreciate the
Absolutely.
engagement today and you guys joining us. There's lots going on in your markets every day, every week. These markets are moving and you got to stay on top of it. And this is that time of year where the noise really can beat on a guy and cause you to, overanalyze or overthink about stuff. Keep executing your marketing plans. Keep progressing them going forward. Whether it's old crop, new crop, always be looking forward.
Yep. Good stuff. Yeah, it's like you guys know when we don't have a whole lot of headlines, right? Pop the questions in. So that was great. I thought I think I opened with it's going to be a quick show, and here we are. Robert, my seed sales person said corn seed sales are way down. Okay, bucking trend. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Up there in north central South Dakota, up there. Be interesting to see. So what are they, Robert, what are they planting? It says sunflower. Gonna go sunflowers. You got some more what type of crops are out there? You need to fire off and let us know. I got a new tune and jingle for you. For some entertainment. Well, Robert types in the comment box
here. That's a good one. All right. Well, any other closing thoughts? I say we get out of here.
I think so too. Yeah. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll have a good premium out here today. I'm looking forward to talking about March options expiration and what that entails to you. So thanks, Connor B.
Yep. Good stuff. See everyone.